We're making waves and keeping it real. It's Real Talk Rhody with Becca Berger.
Welcome to another edition of Real Talk Rhody. And I always love when we can get a live in studio guest because sometimes it's not so fun to talk to myself. It's fun to talk to someone else. And that someone else today is a very big deal in the film and television world here in Rhode Island. Stephen Feinberg, Executive Director of the Rhode Island Film and Television Office. Welcome to Real Talk Rhody.
Always nice to be in the company of Becca Berger. Always nice. I feel enlightened already.
Don't you? Just
I do.
for being in the Real Talk Rhody sphere and space. I'm glad that we offer that kind of energy and vibe.
Your joy is emanating across. I can feel the warmth.
Are you going to use all big words during the podcast?
Maybe if I can come up with them.
Tell me about the hat. Because this is the last few years. I feel like for a while you were all business. You know, you've held this office for how long?
21 years.
Old enough to drink.
Old enough to drink. So, you know, I grew up in Rhode Island, Garden City, right?
Mhm.
Cranston.
Yes.
And I was here for 18 years, and I knew I was going to go out to LA from 8 years old to be in Hollywood, and I went out. And I was in LA for 22 years, came back in 2004. Now I'm here for 21 years. The hat came from a certain self-discovery.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in LA, I used to play basketball like 6 times a week. Monday was the only day I didn't play. Full court with some really great players. And as you get older, you know, I'd see guys tweaking their, knees or whatever. And I came back to Rhode Island. I tried golf and I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. I was trying to find what's my thing? What's my hobby? And one day I was doing a location scout and I drove by Goddard Park and I saw these people going into the trails on horseback. I said, I'd like to try that sometime. So I go there one Saturday with a group that was going out. And when I got off, I felt like I was an 8-year-old kid. I had a smile on my face. I felt joyful, like I hadn't felt it, and I don't remember when. So I went down that following Saturday to see if I felt the same way, and I did. And then I asked this woman, Lee Phillips, it's called C&L Stables at Goddard Park, and I said, would you teach me how to ride? And she said, well, I taught the Providence Mounted Police how to ride. Most of those guys didn't know how to ride, and women. Okay. So she taught me how to ride. And soon I got this hat. And before I knew it, and I had never thought I'd own a horse. And then I owned the best horse in the world, Cruz, who picked me out. I wasn't going to have a horse. I got a horse, had the horse for 11 years. And as time went on, I discovered, I used to have a horse blanket on my bed growing up, covering me. Wasn't aware of it. And the hat just felt right. And so I wore my hat. And if I don't wear my hat, it feels kind of weird not to wear a hat. I'll take it off, but I like my hat. And then if sometimes I go to events and I go, should I wear my hat? And people say, yeah, it's your signature.
It's your brand now.
It's my brand. And I love wearing my hat. And I don't think there's a lot of people that wear my hat. Just me.
I really thought you were going to say you were wearing that hat when you played basketball out in LA to give you a couple inches over the other players.
My hat blocked your shot.
So you're why the Real Housewives of Rhode Island filmed at Goddard Park.
Right. Well, partially I was there when they were filming. Yep. So they, there's all different with the Housewives of Rhode Island. There's all kinds of issues they're having to deal with. And that show is very fluid. They don't know exactly where they're going to be, like from one day to the next, or they're planning to be somewhere, but then there's a change. So with Goddard Park, at least we have a certain amount of control over. And that was on a Friday, I believe they were filming at Goddard. And I popped over there and said hi, and they were filming. And nice bunch of people doing the show.
Well, they're professionals.
Yeah, and they leave a very light footprint behind. And sometimes you'll see people go, who would go to Goddard Park? And, well, you know what? I used to ride my horse on Goddard Park on the beach, and there were people hanging out there, laying out there. And you may not be one of the fancy places, but it also is beautiful. And to me, it's heaven on earth.
And don't you agree that in post, they'll always edit it to look like, I'm not saying anything bad about Goddard Park, but you can make it look like something it's not necessarily. It isn't necessarily.
I don't look. I'm a kid from Garden City and Cranston. I've traveled the world. Guarded Park to me is heaven on earth.
Yeah.
We have 17 miles of horse trails.
Mhm.
I love riding around and the beach and the horse. Let me tell you something. Now, like I said, we're spoiled. It's the ocean state.
Yeah.
It's the ocean state. You don't tell me if you're from Arkansas that you're not going to love Goddard Park or some other places. So people can be, haughty toddy or, on their pedestal. But I love Goddard Park, and it's going to look beautiful because it is beautiful and people enjoy it. And there's going to be all kinds of places around Rhode Island that people are going to say, oh my God, oh, Castle Hill, fabulous. Oh, Coast Guard House, fabulous. Federal Hill, amazing. We have it all. We have the best state. It's the smallest state with the greatest backlot.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's what
I
it
like
is.
that.
That's our saying.
When you say they left their footprint behind, what do you mean by that?
Light footprint. So the nice thing about movie business in general is it's a green business. It's a green economy. So you're not going to be leaving carbon and pollution behind. It's a green economy, and the filmmakers are thoughtful about making sure they clean up after themselves, always leave a location in the same condition they found it or better. And so it's a light footprint. I say it's not thousands of people leaving trash on the ground. And so
they didn't leave hair extensions and eyelash extensions behind.
No. As a matter of fact, if you go down there, it might be a diamond that's in the dirt, in the sand. Go search for it. No.
Speaking of diamonds, so on Real Talk Rhody, obviously we talk a lot about the Real Housewives of Rhode Island,
and we appreciate your love and support.
Always.
Yes,
oh my goodness.
we do.
Are you kidding? Two of my best interests, Bravo and Rhode Island. It's like a dream come true for me.
I had an argument with somebody real quick.
Yeah.
I had an argument with somebody saying, oh, it's very Italian. I go, what's wrong with that?
So it's Italian.
Very Italian. Does that mean that beautiful is bad? Cultural is bad? Family is bad? Humor is bad? Food is bad? Independent is bad? That's what I think when I think Italian and loyalty. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And I've been having this. You and I are very similar in this argument that we've been having to defend for now several months.
And they said, well, they said Italian. I said, well, would you go to My Fat Greek Wedding? What about that movie? Did you say I'm not going to go because it says Greek in it?
It made me want to go to Greece.
And it makes you embrace the culture. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes. If anything, I wanted grape leaves and feta after I saw it. Really quick, you mentioned the diamond, though. Do you have any insight as to what they're going to hold at the beginning of the credits?
I don't. All I know is that I believe they started filming on June 1st. They're going to go all the way until, I believe it's the end of September.
Oh, end of September.
Yeah, I believe it's the end of September. They're all over the state. Again, we've had a lot of vendors that have contacted our office who say, we would really like to have the housewives come to our location. So we share that with Evolution is the name of the company, and their production management and scout teams. So we let them know, hey, they want you here. They want you here. There's a lot of cool places that we as Rhode Islanders would consider iconic places. So we want them to embrace. And the other thing is, hopefully it will be entertaining. Hopefully there'll be likable characters. Hopefully there may be some moments of experiences that are emotionally, in my argument, when I was talking to somebody about New Jersey, I believe it was, and I said, that one couple had an autistic child.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned a lot about having to deal with a child on the spectrum that maybe I would not have learned.
Chris and Jacqueline Larita.
Correct. And, nobody talks about that. They talk about a table flipping that happened 15 years ago.
I know. But I think that's what people like. That's their standard. So you do watch Real Housewives?
I did a long time ago. I'll tell you what show I have one. I watched the Vanderpump Rules.
Obsessed.
And I say, why am I watching this? To myself, I go,
why not, actually?
Okay, so I had to ask myself, why am I watching this? And I said, the women are beautiful.
Yeah.
I find them very attractive. And then I realized that part of my connection with Los Angeles is that show where I can see, oh, this is a restaurant that's popular. This is what's going on. So that's because I had to why am I watching this? The only other reality shows I watch are the Gordon Ramsay shows because I just love them and I don't miss them. I don't miss them.
And I want to talk about Gordon Ramsay coming to Rhode Island in a little bit. Back to Real Housewives of Rhode Island. So when did you get this initial call, email, like, hey, we're thinking about doing a reality show in Rhode Island?
So what happened was we started hearing a little bit about the potential. And this was probably in November, maybe?
Yes.
November. Little bit. And then we reached out to our contacts at Bravo and our contacts at Evolution and NBC, etc. And another company as well. And they said that there's a possibility we're one of, I think, 7 other locations that might be having it. It was just very preliminary, but they were scouting and potential casting of 7 other states. Then it went down to 4 others. It was us and like 3 others. And then there was more and more interest on the social media, and that had an impact. So everybody would call us, and we really couldn't say anything because we were talking to them. And then we had, I think, locked it in. I think it might have been March or so when we kind of knew, okay, we're locked in. And I think we made the announcement in May, just before starting in June.
Yeah, there were so many, to borrow a word from the Bravo world, rumors about Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Initially, I mean, you can confirm or deny this. They were going to film in like the fall or the winter. And I remember thinking, that's not a great time to film in Rhode Island.
No, what they were doing, I think, is doing a little trial casting.
Okay.
And that's what they were doing at some of the other places too. So they were doing, hey, what do we think of? And then someone like an Andy Cohen and his casting team and his creatives can watch and go, okay, let's compare these 4 or 7 different groups, right? Because they're looking at them. Rhode Island's got a lot of, they're funny, they're energetic, they're Rhody.
Yeah.
They're Rhody strong.
Yes.
And we let them know we were supportive. You know, I told Scott, my deputy, the other day about when I was a kid trying to get onto a Sunday league baseball team. And I made the phone call to say, am I going to get picked? Am I going to get picked? And that phone call was the thing that maybe let them pick me. And I'm only 7 years old to try and make a baseball team. But I think that has stuck with me, that we let them know we're interested in bringing this to Rhode Island because we know there's an audience for it. And we also know that this will showcase across the globe, and people are going to then do what they call set jetting, which is a tourism for, these are cool places I want to see on television or film.
It's funny how I bet maybe your phone call kind of stood out among the other 4 locations, like that they, that were vying for this spot. Maybe that separated us.
That's what I'm saying.
A little bit.
So sometimes you might be on the cusp, you don't know where your competition is. And then if you're the squeaky wheel saying, hey, we want this, we want you to know that we're here, we're friendly, we'll help do whatever we can to make life easier for you. They're going to go, you know what? It was between these 2 places, and let's go with Rhode Island because there's enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm goes a long way.
You know that.
Yes. And I also think, so you said the term set jetting?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a tourism, a new tourism style.
And because I think it works in 2 different ways. And I think I've said this on Real Talk Rhody, because first you have the rumblings of the filming. Oh, they're going to film at 7 stars. And that makes people say, oh, 7 stars? I've never been there. I'm going to go there.
Right.
And then eventually, hopefully, some of these locations make it on the final edit, and then it's on TV. And then there's more interest again in 7 stars and Basta and those different locations.
Right. And they always do it in a nice way, right? So they'll show bam, 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 the place. Then they go to the coffee or the food being pop, 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 pop.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have this pop, pop, pop. And then they go into their world, right? Whatever their conversation's going to be. That's a postcard for the world. And it's going to be seen. It's going to be seen by Rhode Islanders. It's going to be seen on a national level and probably an international level.
Yes. Now, we're talking to Stephen Feinberg, Rhode Island Film and Television Office Executive Director. Have there been places that have said, again, we've heard rumblings of this that have said, nah, you know what? I'm all set.
Yeah, so they might have contacted us, the Evolution as an example, say, hey, they rejected us on this. Can you maybe put a phone call?
Can you do a phone call? Because you're very good at your phone calls.
Well, I like to let them know that we support them and we provide, whether we want to support them. We're a film-friendly state. So one location, for example, they didn't want them at the 4th of July weekend, and understandable, right? They had enough to control and then have add-on controls and potential. So it looks like they're going to now film in about a week at the same location.
Okay, so there was a little bit of a redemption there.
Correct. And we've tried to do that. And for every one that doesn't want them, we're getting 4 that want them.
That's a good statistic.
And we literally say, and we got it again this morning. I believe it was this morning or last night. We would like them to come. Yep. Okay. We'll do it. And here's the connection. And great. And they're happy. We had one that wanted to go out. Not one, a couple. They wanted to go. We want them to come to our state. Did not. One was in Massachusetts. One was in Connecticut. I said, we can't promote
outside the jurisdiction.
But here's what happens. So one conversation I had, this person wanted them. They represented a company in Connecticut. I go, I don't feel comfortable recommending Rhode Island Housewives to go to Connecticut. I said, do you represent any other places in Rhode Island? And I think it was 3 or 4 cool places. And all right, let me make a phone call. This was on a Friday, about a couple of weeks ago, about 6:00 at night on a Friday. And I'm at the market, actually, and I'm making the phone calls. Up. Great. Connecting. One place is on the hill, another place, it's great places.
All while you're shopping for produce.
Iconic places, correct.
And so are you saying that sometimes the reasons are just out of their control, meaning, okay, it's a busy summer season, we can't accommodate, or are there other reasons
I think
why?
One of the reasons might be, hey, we're at capacity for security reasons.
That makes sense.
The other one, right. The other one is, well, we don't want to be associated with this particular show because maybe someone is, putting it out there that it's not cool or problematic, and you can talk to them and
you try to finesse them a little bit.
Sure. Especially, I believe, talking to the producers, I believe that they understand they don't want to have something that, well, this is exactly what they said. They are in it for the long haul. This is not a one-off, right? It's Rhode Island Housewives. They're investing in Rhode Island Housewives. They're investing in the brand. They want to be here. It's a long runway, as they put it. A long runway. They don't want to burn bridges. They don't want to burn locations. So should it be entertaining? Should these be characters you love or hate? Yes. But the locations should be proud at the end of the day going, you know what? I'm really glad they came here and I hope they come back.
Yes. With Rhode Island, as our friend Barbie Joe said, as one of the most iconic housewives. Rhode Island should be a housewife in itself because she's so beautiful and dynamic.
Yes.
All right. We're going to move on from Real Housewives of Rhode Island, unless there's any other tea you'd like to spill about Real Housewives of Rhode Island.
That's it. We've got so much more to talk about.
We did. We covered a lot of Real Housewives of Rhode Island talk, and you don't have any insight as to when they would premiere, right? Because that's out of
I don't know.
That's completely. You're more now in the filming aspect of it. You're making the connections. You're making the calls.
We're there to make life easier for them. We have a wonderful person in our office, our administrative assistant, Judy Cooney, who has been really great about helping out and, with the permitting. And we'll say, okay, we're doing permitting. And they'll give us a heads up saying, we were planning to go to Easton Beach or whatever like that.
Yeah.
We're now not going there, but we might go there in 2 weeks. Great. Judy's aware of it. Judy's been, a rock star with making sure that everything's handled. And we work with our partners, whether it's at DEM or, at the other locations and some of the private locations. We just want to make sure they have their insurance, they're protected,
Yeah.
and they're going to leave the place in the same condition or better than they found it.
That they left it.
Yeah.
And any other locations you can tell us that they plan on filming anytime soon?
No, well, I've heard they want to come to your home, and they're going to be hanging out with you and Tony. I don't know.
I better get a cleaning person
Right.
to get in there. I heard that they're in Newport this past weekend, but I don't know if you can
I
confirm
couldn't even tell
or
you.
deny.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we have some other big news. This was just hot off the press these last few days. Warner Brothers bringing a movie to the Ocean State once again. Just on a global scale, Stephen, like, do you feel like this is the busiest Rhode Island has been in terms of movie and TV productions?
So my body right now is like, I've got that tingle, right? I'm not joking. I got that. If I had told myself 21 years ago when I came home, what's going to happen in 21 years, in the summer of 2025 or the year 2025 or the end of 2024, all of this chocolatey goodness, I wouldn't have believed. I thought I was delusional. To have, 3 seasons of the Gilded Age for HBO, and it gets picked up for a 4th season, and there's 5 million viewers for the finale, and we're going to have a screening at the Elms outside under the stars and a full moon, and thousands of people are going to come. Christine Baranski's going to come. That we're going to get to see Becca and Barbie Joe there. That we're going to have M. Night Shyamalan and Jake Gyllenhaal doing a Warner Brothers film here in Rhode Island, co-written by Nicholas Sparks of The Notebook fame. That we are going to have an outstanding Rhode Island International Film Festival. That James L. Brooks, a multi-Academy Award-winning director, an Emmy Award-winning writer, producer, director, and Jamie Lee Curtis, Woody Harrelson, Emma Mackey, Albert Brooks, and so on, filming in Rhode Island. And the trailer just comes out, and it's going to come out during the Academy Award times. If you had told me that...
Now I have the chills.
Yeah, if you told me that Gordon Ramsay's going to be here doing a show, Secret Service for the Crazy Burger, that Chad Verdi, our local producer, is working with Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio to do a movie in October, and all of this stuff.
Oh, so we have nothing going on.
and this big Warner Brothers movie,
yeah,
right? That's a blockbuster movie that's going to come out next year. If you had told me all this stuff going, I would have thought you're insane. But it's all a dream come true. And then, and on a personal note,
it's job security.
Well, I mean, I got inducted into the Cranston Hall of Fame and the Rhode Island Hall of Fame. Thank you. And I got a doctorate from UR. I didn't ask for it. I was shocked by it. And I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that the people of Rhode Island, the viewers, the citizens, the elected officials, the vendors, the Newport Mansions, PPAC, that everyone's rowing together in harmony pretty much.
It seems, honestly, from an outside perspective, it does seem that way.
It's how I hope that Rhode Island would be. This is my favorite place on the planet Earth. I tell people, no one loves Rhode Island more than me. You can love it as much as me, but not more than me. And to see us all working together, hopefully without stress and joy, and showcase our beautiful state to the world. A lot of times Rhode Islanders beat up on Rhode Island.
Yeah, that's their, well, look at the comment section.
Right. I'm not that. I'm not that. So if you don't have something nice to say, keep it to yourself. Yeah. There's a lot of things that I might not like, but I don't have to, step on it, blow out someone else's candles, right? Yeah. That doesn't make mine brighter. So I'm a big believer when we're all working together, showcasing our state to the world, man, and they love us. They love us.
How could they not?
Let's love ourselves.
We should.
Yeah.
Was there any point this summer where any of the camera crews overlapped? Or any of the productions or anything like that?
I mean, of like the folks that are on that wrapped Remain.
Yeah.
So a lot of those folks are now jumping onto this new movie. Now the new movie.
Oh, they didn't have to go anywhere. They just kind of stayed put.
Right. And so the new movie is they're only filming for a week, but there's been prep. So the other film's kind of slowing down because they were mostly at the Armory. So
Mhm.
they're not. So there's going to be like they're now going to move over, and but no, I don't think there's been any like, hey, I'm taking a right turn. Nope, look out for the housewives.
Well, the housewives are over there, and
That
then
would be
Jake
a-
Gyllenhaal
that would
is
be a
over
funny-
here.
We should do a promotional reel for that.
Did you? So going back to Remain, the M. Night Shyamalan movie you were talking about, Nicholas Sparks is involved. The book is coming out in October, and then it's released a year later. Did you get to talk to Jake Gyllenhaal? Were you on set?
I did.
A bit?
I talked to Jake. As a matter of fact, I talked to Jake at Goddard Park. They were filming literally on a exact spot where my horse and I were a Christmas Eve when in 2021. I showed them the picture. I go, this is here 2021 in the snow. But talked to Jake, and he loves it, and he's very, he's a quiet dude. He's a quiet guy,
Reserved.
very quiet. But he actually has just been attached to another novel that Don Winslow, who did City on Fire, he's got another project with Austin Butler.
Yeah.
So Jake and I were talking about that, about the book he's attached with Don, and maybe we'll make that in Rhode Island.
Yes.
And then talk to Knight and quite a bit, and talk to
I didn't know you were on a night basis.
yeah, I talked to Knight. And then talk to his wife, who loved the Gilded Age.
Yeah, so there was a lot of crossover here this summer for you.
Yeah, she loved the Gilded Age. They're addicted. And I invited them to come to the screening at the Elms.
Did they go?
No, they were leaving that morning. So that morning was because they finished filming Friday, wrap party on Saturday, Sunday they were going. But they had a great time. Now, Knight might be coming back to do reshoots and added scenes. A lot of times he'll do that on movies. So there's a 50-50 chance that he might do a couple extra scenes.
Was the entire movie Remain shot here?
All of it.
And what made them choose Rhode Island?
Well, I had worked with Mark Beanstalk, the producer. We did a movie called November Criminals with Ansel Elgort and Chloe Grace Moretz.
I remember.
So Mark and I have a unique experience. There was a blizzard, and he and I were driving around in the blizzard doing location scouting in the blizzard. And at that time, it was Governor Raimondo said all people need to be off the roads by 8:00, emergency, because she wanted all the trucks on the freeways and nobody on the roads. So Mark and I are in the blizzard. I dropped him off at his hotel at 7:30 at night, and then I made home to Cranston at 8:00. So we've always had a great friendship. You're doing an adventure like that, you have great friendship.
And he also saw that we have 4 seasons here. Clearly.
Yeah. So Mark's from New York. So we had always talked about doing another. We stayed in touch and talking about doing another production together. And I am a huge Knight fan. Unbreakable is probably one of my favorite top 10 movies of all time.
Solid pick.
And I love Signs and Sixth Sense and Split. I thought was fabulous. And Mark started working with Knight on The Visit, and then started doing some shows. And so he and I would talk all the time. I said, gotta get him here. We almost did Trapped, the movie with Josh Hartnett.
Yes.
And
oh my goodness. That was a freaky one. So that was almost here.
Yeah. The only reason we didn't do it is because they were fixing the roof of the Dunk.
I was just going to say that would have been the backdrop because it's set in a concert arena.
Yeah, so it all would have been at the Dunk. We were all ready to go, but there was roof work being done that summer. So we didn't do it then. And then, always, every show Mark and I would see, could we do it here in Rhode Island? Okay. So the next one was this one, which is called Remain. And actually, Scott and I, my deputy Scott and I, would take pictures, and so we sent to Mark, and then we hooked up Mark with Alex Berard, who's I like to think of our go-to location manager, very trustworthy, smart guy. And we asked him if he had any photos of this is what we're looking for. Do you have any? You sent them over. Yep. Then night came, and Alex took him around. Great. Then we found some other spots for them. Great. And before we knew it, we had a deal. We knew what the budget was. We knew how many credits we would have. We had the credits. We offered the Armory up. They paid $10,000 a month for the Armory for renting, but they also pick up all of the utilities. So those savings can equal about $250,000 for the state in just the utilities alone that we normally would be picking up. So,
can you talk to my audience about how the tax credits work with movies? Because that is something that I think we all pretend like we know how it works, but some of us don't.
So, just a little bit of background. I lived in Los Angeles. I've been in the Writers Guild since I think 1987 or 89. I don't even recall. I did a movie in Australia called Fortress in 1992, and then we did a sequel in Luxembourg. So there were a lot of productions at that time that were leaving Los Angeles and going to other countries like Canada. And it was called Runaway Production. And a place like California did nothing. There were no states that were doing anything in the United States. So we had these, I call it manufacturing. It's our new form of manufacturing, but we're not manufacturing shirts. We're manufacturing movies and
experiences
and movies and TV shows, productions. So we're manufacturing those and then sending them out. What started happening is Canada was now doing our manufacturing, Australia, Luxembourg. So when I took on the job here in Rhode Island, I said I want to do a tax incentive program, and nobody knew what I was talking about. What it is it's like going to a supermarket with coupons, and you say, I'm going to buy this, this, and this. Oh, here's a coupon for 30 cents. So what we offer is a 30% tax credit on qualified expenditures, money spent on the ground in Rhode Island, including crew, including purchases and rentals and all the stuff. So if a company spends $1 million, they're going to get $300,000 back in a coupon. That coupon is a transferable tax credit. Well, what does that mean? So most of the production companies are, they don't have any money, like they're a corporation, but they don't owe any state taxes. So what they'll do is they'll sell that to a third party and get 90 cents on the dollar, 92 cents on the dollar. So a Rhode Island company or a Rhode Island person who owes taxes can purchase it from them, and they have a 3-year window to use that credit. So it's like a coupon, and you go, you know what? Hey, I'm Steven Feinberg. I'm a carnivore. I just got this coupon, but it's for vegetarian products. And I don't know if you're vegan or not, but I go, Becca, can you use this vegan?
I eat hot wieners. I'm from Rhode Island.
Okay. So I might go, oh, I've got a friend who's vegan. Do you want this vegan coupon? Yeah, great. Oh, okay. That's kind of what it's like. So once we did it, it spread across the country, and it spread to other countries. So it took me 6 months to write this legislation, many sleepless nights.
I bet.
Because I had to protect the state, and I wanted it to be a win for the producer, but I had to protect the state. So now about 43 other states in the United States, this is the normal way they do it. And that's how I was able to bring Brotherhood, the TV show, here, and then Underdog here, then Dan in Real Life here. And then suddenly Massachusetts copied our program, Connecticut, New Jersey, everywhere copied our program. And they made it.
We're pioneers. You're a pioneer.
No, well, they made it. And I had a Speaker of the House at that time, Bill Murphy, who was my champion, and Senate President Joe Montalbano. And what happened, though, is we capped how much production I can bring per calendar year to Rhode Island, where other states like Massachusetts can bring an unlimited amount. They copied it, and they made it, they flexed.
Yeah, they flex. That's a good term. It's so funny when you watch shows like Gilded Age and you're going to watch these movies that were filmed here and you watch Real Housewives, you think, I'm just sitting on my couch, just watching this show. You don't know all this other stuff.
Right.
It's a journey. It is a scenic route. It is going from Woonsocket to Westerly to get there to the final product.
So Gilded Age. Gilded Age was a creation from my friend Bob Greenblatt. Bob had been the chairman of Showtime, president of Showtime. So when we did the Brotherhood series, right? 3 seasons, Peabody Award-winning show.
Yeah.
First time a show was ever filmed completely in Rhode Island.
Wow.
So Bob then became the head of NBC. And as chairman of NBC, and the Downton Abbey craze was going on.
Yes, loved it.
He said to Julian Fellows, Julian, I'd like to hire you to do an American version called The Gilded Age. And Julian said, I've got a couple more seasons of Downton Abbey. I might do a Downton Abbey movie or 2 or 3.
And which happened.
Right. But I'm very interested. So I immediately called Bob because it had been reported. And I said, Bob, we have the highest concentration of Gilded Age homes in the United States.
Yes.
You've got to come around. Steve, it's premature. So I'm contacting him every 6 months. I reach out to Trudy Cox, head of the Preservation Society in Newport.
Yeah.
All the mansions. I said, I want to know everything we have. I want to be at the table. I want to know everything we have. I want to know all the mansions. I want to know any kind of props. I want to know any kind of costumes. I want them to know we want this. Well, Bob ended up moving to HBO. The only project he took with him, The Gilded Age. So he took that to HBO with him. And
lucky for us.
Stayed again, dog on a bone. This goes for about 10 to 12 years.
Wow.
And finally, I get Julian to come to Rhode Island with the director, Michael Engler.
What's he like?
Julian, I love him. He's great. He loves movies. We can talk hours about movies. He's very, very smart.
And very British.
Very educated.
Yeah.
His mother was an actress whom was not part of the blue blood family and kind of has been scorned. So in other words, if she was dropping him off for a play date, the blue bloods wouldn't invite the mother in for tea.
Oh, wow.
So that feeling of
upstairs, downstairs.
Correct. Is thematic in his life because of how he felt as a child, because she was upset by not being accepted. So he always loves history, very well read, very
He seems
smart.
Obsessed with certain time periods.
He also is an actor. And he was in the movie Tomorrow Never Dies, and he played this commander,
like a villain.
Yeah. So when I met him, I called him by that character name, and he said, "Oh, you're a clever fellow."
That was a James Bond movie, right? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in the opening, and we get along great. We got along so great, and we email once a week.
Gilded Age is such a win. How much did they film here versus how much did they film in Long Island?
So
they filmed there.
And they also film in Troy, New York. So they film usually 2 months and we always do it off peak season. So we usually do it in the spring and then we do it in the fall. This season 4, they want to have on the air at the end of 2026. And as Julian said,
that's bold.
Yeah, Julian, right. They want me to write the scripts now. Capital N, capital O, capital W. But when we brought Julian here and Michael Engler, the director, and Bob Shaw, the production designer, and David Crockett and Gareth Neame, the producers, it was the same weekend that Downton Abbey, the movie, came out. And that was going against Ad Astra, a Brad Pitt movie. And I said to Julian, I said, "What's it like? This is your first time in Newport." He said, "It was one thing to read about it,
but to experience it,
thing to see it in the flesh." And he loved it. They were sold on it. And the actors will say the same thing the directors say. There's no facade. It's not like a set where it's a fake backing, right?
It's the real deal.
They go, they walk on, they're immersed. It's real. and it really helps their performances. Christine Baranski said the same thing.
Well, it elevates it, right? Like, because you feel like you are put in a time machine.
Correct.
And that helps you with your character and the war.
It's grounded.
I mean, listen, the wardrobe department themselves need to win all the awards because of what they've been able to do.
Becca, they have, they're here. They're, just to give you an example, and both Julian and Gareth Neem, his producing partner, they've done a lot of different shows. They have said to me, HBO is the best one to work for. They put the money in. So just an example, I introduced them to the Newport Tennis Hall of Fame. I said, this is for the same time period. Well, not that you notice it or I notice it or anyone else, but they made sure the netting was of that time, exactly as it is. So detail-oriented and authenticity. And would you notice it? Probably not. But you know what? The art director is going to notice it. The Art Directors Guild's going to know about it.
Yeah.
The production designers are going to know about it. And that and the props and that is what helps elevate this show.
And I'm laughing because you're not going to find a Starbucks cup on the set like they did with Game of Thrones all those years ago.
Right.
Or like, I guess like Nitro Bar. I'm trying to think of places in Newport, but you're not going to find like a random of 2025.
And they're spending money, it has such a positive impact on our vendors, whether it's a florist or even a dry cleaner.
A Carrie Cupcake got her cake on set for Gilded Age.
Correct. What about that cake? She said it was the most expensive cake she ever made.
Oh, I bet.
And that's like fabulous. And and there's so many extras that they use, and they spend the money really well. And we know the other thing, for every tax credit we give, returns $5.44. So we give $1, returns $5.44 of economic activity. And that's just the production. So like the Gilded Age, Trudy Cox and her friends at the Preservation Society, they have a special HBO Gilded Age tour for $250.
Smart.
It's expensive.
Yeah, but it
sells out. They had that. They just added another
that
week.
Doesn't surprise me.
No, it sells out.
Yeah.
And so they get tourists that come in and want to see that and have that immersive experience. And that is above and beyond. And we did the same thing when we had Hocus Pocus 2. People are coming in to watch the filming from out of town because they know that they're filming Hocus Pocus 2. And that had the biggest amount of viewership by any original film on streaming ever,
which is a flex in itself.
Yeah, it's crazy good.
We're talking to Stephen Feinberg, executive director, Rhode Island Film and Television Office. I know you can't confirm this, but I guess the new production with Warner Brothers filming, shutting down parts of the east side over Wickenden Street and
Westminster. Way Bassett and Benefit Street.
Yeah. So allegedly, Glenn Powell, Jenna Ortega, J.J. Abrams directing it, Samuel L. Jackson involved, but
I can't confirm that.
You are on video.
Oh, okay. But it's a Warner Brothers production.
Yes, it is.
And it's I will say this, it will be a big blockbuster movie that we've spent about a year putting this together. They're not filming the whole movie in Rhode Island.
You said it was in Europe, right? For a while.
It's primarily filming in Europe. I'm not going to say what the story location is, but it's filmed primarily in Europe. But they are going to be filming in Rhode Island for a week, and we are super excited. It was like one more little surprise that the Rhode Island Film and TV Office had. For the last year, we've been working on it, and it's come together, and we're really glad that we could share that. It's a real experience happening.
Yes, truly. And then before we wrap up here, Ella McKay is coming out, and this is again huge stars. We got James L. Brooks.
Right. So James L. Brooks did Mary Tyler Moore Show, Taxi. He's the executive producer of The Simpsons. He wrote and directed As Good as It Gets, Broadcast News, Terms of Endearment, Academy Award winners. He's 85 years old, and it's with Woody Harrelson, Emma Mackey, Jamie Lee Curtis, Albert Brooks, and a few other stars. And it was filmed in Rhode Island at our state house. We used the Armory, and he is a joy. And the movie was supposed to get a September release. It's 20th Century Studios, which is under the umbrella of Walt Disney, and they moved it to December 12th, which is the awards season time. And as I said to Jim, I was so happy. He goes, "Yeah, I get to play in the sandbox with the big boys." And I go, "You are a big boy."
He is a big boy, and I love, again, it's like night. You get to call James L. Brooks Jim.
And he is someone I really look up to, grounded. He's got this infectious laugh, and he's the nicest. I consider it a blessing to know him.
Oh, of course.
I really do.
Well, he's a legend.
Yeah. And then if you meet this other director who's going to be filming this movie starting next week, and he's good friends with him also, and he said nice things about you, and it makes you feel good that they see Rhode Island in a very positive light, that these icons that you might have read about when you were a kid, or at least I would have, and gone to LA, and you never would have had these experiences, and now they come here because they love it. And Mark Ruffalo, who we did a movie with, who I'm still very close to, and he's talking to these folks, and they love Rhode Island. They're talking about it, and they're not even in our country, but they're talking about Rhode Island. They're out of the country. They send me a picture and say, "We're talking about your state and you." That makes you feel good.
It's a great cosign by some very big names. Are you planning on any kind of premiere for Ella McKay in Rhode Island?
Yes, we hope to have a premiere in Ella McKay in Rhode Island in December. I reached out to Jim. He doesn't know the dates. We reached out to the studio. We don't know, but we know it opens December 12th. So I would imagine sometime between Thanksgiving and that time, we're going to have a screening. Hopefully at the Showcase Cinema in Warwick, because it's a nice big theater and easy access. Parking's easy.
I have to ask you this. You've dropped some pretty big names today. Who is the most famous person in your phone? Like, your contact list is filled with some heavy hitters.
I get some cool people. I don't know. I don't know. I've got a lot of cool people on my phone.
You mentioned Mark Ruffalo.
Mark and I, he's a really great friend. Really great friend. We text all the time. A+ human being. So other person in my phone, I'm not going to say who it is.
Oh, come on.
There's like some great people. I'm shocked. I'm shocked at who I have on my phone. I'm shocked. It's a part of the thing. And one of the things I spoke about at the commencement at URI,
yep.
I spoke about, because I didn't know I was giving a speech, and then they said, "Oh, you want to speak?" Well, who else is speaking? No one really. You.
Yeah.
And so that morning I wrote my speech, and I realized that I used to daydream a lot, and I still daydream. I daydream about these, what if, what could happen? Daydreams. You take those daydreams and you work really hard at them, and you persevere, and then you hopefully find like-minded people who share the same daydream, or at least don't get in the way, or will provide an assist. These amazing things can happen in your life that you don't expect, and things that you hope will happen, but then there's other things that might happen along the way that you just didn't even know would happen, but you daydream them. Like Viola Davis and Dolores Grant, they were kids.
That's her sister, for those who don't know.
Very poor.
Yeah.
Right? And I said to Dolores and Viola, you were very poor, but something happened. You get this superpower. The superpower was imagination. And they used to pretend they were Zsa and Eva, like the Gabor sisters. And they do tea. And
For those who don't know, they were like the Kardashians of their time.
Correct. And they would do these tea things. Zsa. Well, now look at them.
Yeah.
They are. But they daydreamed. They had a superpower called imagination. And I like to think that I have some of that superpower too, just from, I was in a loving family, but I had freedom to daydream, and I worked really hard. I don't think anyone works harder than me, but it's my passion. I love it. But as a result, these crazy things are happening that are impacting the community, that are impacting our state. And I think it's so exciting. So I'm grateful for your time and support.
No, but it's the audacity to dream, right? Like, it's like, how dare you have all of these big dreams, but sometimes you can manifest them.
And who knew that I would be sitting here with you, right? Talking about this, you're had your daydream and you're doing
I
hosting
did.
your own show.
I did.
And we're talking about stuff that you
gotta
love and are
speak it.
passionate about.
Yeah, this is my language.
Right.
So anytime you want to put me in a group chat with Mark Ruffalo or Jamie Lee Curtis or Martin Scorsese or any of those other famous people in your phone, you just let me know.
I will.
What else did we forget, Stephen, while we still have you that we want to promote on
I'm
Real
looking
Talk
forward.
Rhody?
We did the we also supported Bernadette Conti, who did The Heart of Knightsville, a beautiful documentary.
Did you? So you saw it, obviously.
Well, we when she reached out to us very early on in the concept, and we supported her with Tom DiNucci as a director.
We love Tom.
Then what happened was COVID struck. When COVID struck, Tom had a timeout and was able to work on it. And so that happened. And we supported her. We helped. I'm the vice president of the Greenwich Odeum. By the way, we're going to be in our 100th year. So it's 1926 to 2026 is our 100-year anniversary at the Greenwich Odeum. We're going to have 100 years of cinema.
Oh, fun.
I'm going to curate some special movies that people can see on the big screen.
How excited are you to do this? Because you're such a, forgive the term, but you're such a movie nerd and
yeah, well,
I see this like happiness on your face about, I get to curate movies.
So they said, hey, I said, I want to do this. I said, okay. They said, all right, why don't you come up with, I said, I'd like to do at least one movie a month, right? So 12 movies.
Yeah.
So on the top of my head one day, I came up with 127 movies. I said, here.
They don't have to be Rhode Island based.
No.
Rhode
I said,
Island.
this is 127 movies. Let's figure out what we're going to pick. And maybe this will be our encyclopedia to start. Everything from Gone with the Wind to, we do It's a Wonderful Life every year, to Bridge on the River Kwai, E.T., The Man Who Would Be King.
27 dresses.
I said on there. I'll have to do a Rhode Island. Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom and the Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah.
I'd love to do double features, North by Northwest and Rear Window. So we have all these movies, The Sting and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That's a great double feature. And we just have to get people to come. Yeah. Maybe we can promote it here.
Sure.
We want to get people
You
to
tell
come.
me when and I'll
and movies like Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein that maybe kids haven't seen, and we can show that with Young Frankenstein or Blazing Saddles in Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, see how excited you're getting about the possibilities?
Well, because I think about like the movies that I would go see, whether it was I was at the opening of Jaws when it came out.
50th anniversary.
Yeah,
this
I was
year.
there, and they filmed me on Channel 12. Or we do that, or I don't know. I just want to show these movies. I want them to see it on the big screen. And the thing I loved the other night, I said, we were at the Elms. Welcome to the Newport Drive-In, I said, because you had thousands of people on the lawn congregating together.
It's like
in
a drive-in.
harmony.
Yeah.
Nostalgic, having an experience together.
Yeah.
I want to have people see classic movies together, laughing together, even with the Gilded Age. It's a TV show that if you see at home, you might go, but then you got 1,000 people going,
ha. Yeah. Or,
yeah, right. It was a whole new game.
It's a different experience. I can't go like it's kind of like the Super Bowl. I can only watch that stuff like in the comfort of my home because I get so distracted by other people.
Me too.
Sometimes it depends on the event, right?
Events,
but you know what I mean.
Sporting events I have to watch alone.
Yeah.
Because I want to watch the game.
But the Gilded Age finale also kind of like a sporting event for us. So
but you thought But when you see with other people, they're all like making noises.
Different reactions.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even the person from HBO said the same thing. She's like, I've never seen it like that.
I didn't realize that they came to town. All right. So Heart of Knightsville, we got that. The Greenwich Odeum, we have that. Roaring Game just made its premiere at the Rhode Island International Film Festival.
That was Mickey Rourke and Gronk, and it was Chad Verdi, Chad Jr., Paul Luba, directed by Tom DeNucci.
Really enjoyed it.
It was fun.
Thought it was so fun. And it reminded me, and I don't know if Tom is going for this or he doesn't like this critique, but I thought it was very Farrelly Brothers-esque at times.
I think he would appreciate that.
Yeah.
And now he's got another film, Bad News at the Doorstep. It's more of a thriller, a period thriller. And then Chad Verdi and those guys are going to be doing this new movie with Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's the most famous person in your
Carthage. And they also just did, and I loved it. You probably saw the trailer, was Serling.
Yeah.
So Rod Serling used to talk into a mic and record all of his thoughts. And so it's him narrating, and we filmed a lot of it all around Rhode Island. Tom actually was the stand-in for Rod Serling.
You could tell in the preview.
Yeah. So,
and can you tell people who Rod Serling is for the younger audience?
Rod Serling, The Twilight Zone.
Yes.
If you have those folks. He actually also wrote the original Planet of the Apes movie in 1969, and the big ending was his. It was not in the script previously. He wrote that. Very Twilight Zone. He also did The Night Gallery. He was one of the greatest writers of our time. He inspired me big time. Part of my cinema experience was based on my 7th grade teacher gave me all of Rod Serling's stories.
At Western Hills?
Yes. And his name was Mr. Gustafson. Pete
I went
Gustafson.
to Bain.
Oh, and I had his wife who in 3rd grade. Yeah.
I love a Cranston connection.
I love Cranston.
So
the
do
heart
I.
of Rhode Island.
The heart of Rhode Island. Stephen, you know I can talk to you all day
Thank
about
you.
this stuff. Congratulations on a banner few years, not just a year, right? It's been an amazing few years.
2 decades.
And but no, I just mean, like you said, this particular moment in time for Rhode Island TV and film is a pretty significant one.
It's the best yet.
And it sounds like we're not stopping anytime soon.
No, we are actually going from here to do a camera rigging test with the production. That's
with the Warner Brothers production.
Yeah.
With J.J. Abrams and Samuel L. Jackson and Glenn Powell and Jenna Ortega.
We're going to go now. Are we good on time?
Hopefully. Sorry, okay, I know good. I took up a lot of your time.
No. I just want to.
Thank you so much for coming on Real Talk Rhody.
Real Talk Rhody is the real deal. It's the best of the best. It's with Becca Berger, and we love Real Talk Rhody.